For some mysterious reason, I am compelled to talk about my goals set in the outdoors during a dangerous heat wave. These are going to be my mid-year goals because it is June. That meaning there are technically 6 more months in the list to go down until the end of the year. And there are some things that I would like to achieve by the end of those 6 months. All right. And I've pretty much organized these goals into, I believe, 3 compartments. Okay, self-development goals, aesthetic goals, and career goals. It was at my last job where one of the sales managers said that a goal without a plan is just a wish. And that really stuck with me. So it was very important to me that in listing out these mid-year goals, if you will, that I make sure that I at least plan it out. And how I plan it out is I compartmentalized my goals into 3 compartments. And while I say what the goals is, I listed out what the habits are going to be leading out those goals. So self-development, I want to pass the DELI exam. The DELI exam is the Spanish fluency test, like the official internationally recognized Spanish fluency test. I want to pass A1. I want to take the test on, is it November or December? I completely lost it. I believe it's November. Yes. I think there's a test on November. I want to be able to be prepared and have at least hopefully I'll have A2 fluency by that time, right? But fluent in such a way where I can pass A1 with flying colors. But that's not the only language test I intend to take by the end of the year. I also want to take the I also want to take the HSK1 exam, which is the Chinese fluency test. That's going to be a lot more harder than the DELI exam, but I believe I can make it at that time. I also have a list of self-help books still in my Kindle, listed in my Notion to be read, and I still haven't read it. So I really want to get out the way because I keep buying more self-help books, and it's like I can't keep doing this, and I have so many that I haven't finished already. And thankfully, the ones that I have got is still relevant to how I want to self-develop, and they're pretty highly acclaimed. So I want to finish that by the end of the year. All of that finished. I think I can finish that in 2 months. Actually, no, let me not make any lofty goals right now. But I think, I want to just rush to finish those books. And I've also been reading the New York Times because I like the New York Times and I like knowing about the news. But I also see reading that as an opportunity to expand my vocabulary. That and also just reading books, right? There's a lot more words that I don't know. I know a lot. I think I have a pretty high reading level, but there's a lot of words that you can't never learn too many words. You know what I mean? There's never a limit. So I do want to be able to expand my vocabulary greater and greater, especially if I'm going to start this year in becoming an English major, right? That's going to be very, very helpful. So for the third thing, I also want to become well-traveled. I kind of now have the opportunity to travel wherever I want. So I really want to take advantage of that opportunity and do exactly that. But despite that list, I want to talk about, those are going to be my self-development goals, right? And I want to talk about how I intend to, what habits I'm going to do every single day to hit those goals, right? Those are the firm goals. What are the goals I'm going to set up every day to, reach those goals by the end of the year? So for passing the DELI exam, what's a habit that I'm going to do? I asked ChatGPT to give me a daily chart I can go by to learn how to read, write, what is it called again? Read, write, listen, and speak Spanish, because those are the 4 skills that are going to be tested in the DELI exam, right? And it's a pretty good chart that they gave me. Of course, they generated for me, and they also just gave me a list of milestones I should be hitting every single month, okay? So I'm going to start on that probably today. And I'm going to have to ask ChatGPT to give me one for the HSK Chinese exam. All right. So for the self-help reading list, again, I have a good amount of free time. Basically, how I am going to tackle that, what am I going to do? For the self-help reading list, what am I going to do again? Oh, yes. So while I'm reading these self-help books, I am going to come up here as content explaining about these books. Like, the content won't be all about the books, right? I'm just going to every week do a weekly goal check-in, and then in that check-in I'm going to tell you the progress that I made. Along with that, I am going to express to you what I've been learning in these books through content. For the vocabulary, I'm also going to do a word of the month. Okay, basically what I do to learn vocabulary right now, to expand vocabulary, is I read my newspaper, right? I highlight words that I don't know or I'm not too sure of. Like, maybe I'm familiar with the word, but the context is used in a way that I'm not familiar with. So it's good to still look up that word and still understand the context. But what I do in particular is I write down the list of words in a flashcard. Then what do I do? Yes, I write down the list of words in a flashcard, and then I upload it onto vocabulary.com, my vocabulary list. And then what vocabulary.com does is just gives me a course, if you will, so I could just practice learning the word. And basically, it tracks on your practice if you're 25% done, 50% done. By percentage, it goes by your progress in completely mastering the list. So what I want to do every day is do 25% a day. You know what I mean? So that's going to be hitting 4%, not 100% in 4 days, right? So every 4 days, I should have a new vocabulary list uploaded, gathered from reading books and newspapers, and uploading it onto vocabulary.com. Becoming well-traveled, basically, I have to, traveling is a planning thing. So one thing I want to do is how my traveling is going to show up as content. You'll soon find that out. But what it will entail is still budgeting, saving, and planning, right? So I think once every month, not this month obviously, but once every month I have to travel somewhere. And if I have not planned it properly, how do I say this? Even if like the days are going by and we're reaching the end of the month and I haven't gone somewhere yet, I will punish myself by like randomly going there. I will hop on the plane. I'll get the ticket. I'll hop on the plane and just be there. Okay. And if it's a miserable experience, well, that's why I'm going to make sure I plan next time. But what needs to happen is I'm going to challenge myself to go to 4 different places, whether it's a different country, different state, 4 different places for the next 6 months. Next is aesthetic goals. All right. Now, this isn't necessarily aesthetic. This is me getting into my late 20s and feeling the aches and the pains of not being a person that works out already. So one thing that I'm going to do, I already got a yoga mat, right? So an idea that I have is every single morning, I am going to turn YouTube on my TV and just do exercise videos. Okay, that's what I'm going to do at the start. I'm going to set up just so I'm doing some kind of exercising every day. And hopefully once I get the gist of it, maybe I will advance into other ways to improve my health, improve my body. So it's just right now I'm doing this to make sure I'm healthy when I'm 80 years old, right? Make sure I don't regret not being proactive at this age starting now. Okay, I don't really have any aesthetic goals, but maybe it will show up in my body aesthetically. That would be awesome, but that's not really a priority, is it? Another goal I have is for my hair. Okay. Actually, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about my teeth. I had Invisalign last week, and it has made such a significant difference to how I talk, basically how my mouth look when I talk, and just how my teeth is. And I couldn't get the proper, what can I get? I couldn't get the proper retainer. Basically, the retainer that I have has expanded and it's kind of lost. I have no idea where that thing is. At least the top part is. So I can feel the top part of my teeth regressing, and I'm pretty terrified of it regressing worse in a way where, again, my mouth isn't aesthetically appealing anymore. So I am going to make sure I purchase. The goal that I have is to purchase the retainers again, like the long-lasting retainers that I need, and they said it's going to be like $200. Okay, so it's going to be a one-time purchase. I don't know why I have this set up as a goal. Maybe because I feel like I need to budget for it, right? I don't think I can like put down $200 like that. And now let's go down to my hair, because it connects to why I can't put down $200 something like that. I put down $200 something just to redo my hair every now and then. And I am at this point in my life getting sick of braids. I always thought about what hairstyle I wanted to have as an adult. And my dream hairstyle, ever since I was a kid actually, was to be a naturalista. I've always been fond of my natural hair. Never had the opportunity to wear my natural hair, not really, or learn how to do that, unfortunately. I have those kind of family members. And I think the opportunity to really learn now, right, and practice, that ship has pretty much sailed. So one thing I want to do is, so I've been thinking about what is a hairstyle I can do officially as an adult woman, right? That could be my official adult hairstyle. And I decided that was going to be sister locks. Okay, sister locks, because yes, I want to look an adult, but I also want to look a fairy princess. I still want to look fantastical in a way. That's just my aesthetic. I really like a cutesy, whimsy, ethereal. I love those types of aesthetics for myself, and I feel like to achieve that, sister locks is going to help me. No way. Can you hear that? I'm sorry. There's a whatchamacallit. There's like a blow dryer. Someone's using a blow dryer near me, and I'm hoping you can't hear that because of this microphone. I hope this microphone is on. Jesus. I'm gonna do the video anyway, right? Okay, but a sister locks is going to be $1,500 to get started, okay? It's still going to be a good idea, because I was doing some research and they're saying, I do 100, sister locks is so costly. Every year you have to pay $100, to get it retied. I'm like, okay, well, I pay like $200 something every month to redo my head, and I think that would be fantastic for me. So that, on top of aesthetically and money saving, what it's going to do for me, and again, just going through the whole journey of it being my official adult hairstyle, my signature hairstyle, that's going to be a good idea. So I purchased a piggy bank, and I want to use that piggy bank to start saving for it, okay? And I believe I'm going to save $200 a month. That's the goal. I'll tell you if I change that, but I'll save $200 a month. And I forgot when, but I believe it's going to be in 10 months. I forgot my calculations, but it might be in 10 months I'll be able to officially get the sister locks hairstyle. And that's not too drastic for me, because in those 10 months, right, understanding that I am going to permanently have this hairstyle, I can experiment and just make sure I get some other aesthetic looks going in before that time comes, right? And I was thinking about, how am I going to save up for that, right? Because I'm saying 200, but 1 month might come along where I feel like I can't do the 200. So what extra things can I do to make sure I'm hitting that goal, or if I'm hitting that goal maybe before the end of the year, because that's the goal. This is mid-year goals. right? So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I'll have to take more shifts at my job. There's always that. Okay, but taking more shifts might take away from my other goals. Keep that in mind. So that's why. And then what else am I thinking? I'm thinking that, yes, I'm going to, like I said before in a past video, I'm going to have to learn how to do my own hair. If I learn how to do, if I develop that skill, just braiding my own hair every month, then I don't have to worry about paying $250 something, right, to get it done every month. So that will be a skill. That will be a skill, a hard skill I'm requiring. I had that listed in my list as a hard skill to reach my goals that I have to require. So once I achieve that hard skill, which I can probably within a month, then I can probably save, you know, that $250 I'm paying a month to redo my hair. I can do that. I could just, you know, buy the hair supplies for like what, 50 or 200, do my own hair and then save the rest, right? And then I'll see quicker progress into having the 1,500 to do my sister locks. Okay, so let's talk about career goals. All right, so I'm sorry, in my last video 2 months ago, I'm sorry that it's 2 months, by the way, I said that I'm going to do 300 prompts. I have not abandoned that. Okay, I've actually have gotten started on that. I just haven't been posting it. Okay, and of course, naturally, these aren't going to be flash fiction. It's going to be short story fiction. I want 300 prompts of 300 short stories out of me. You know, I think this will be fantastic because I want to be a full-time writer. That's the goal. The goal is to be a full-time writer one of these days. And to do that, I have to treat it as a job, you know, not just a joy. And that requires discipline, you know, and that's kind of hard. Like, I don't want to, for example, I was in a bad mood like 50 minutes ago, you know, and imagine making myself write 1,000 words when I'm in a bad mood, but that's what I have to do. You know, I have to develop in my craft. I have to develop my craft, make time for my craft. You know, part of developing my craft isn't just quality of my writing, right? It's also making sure that it's actually written. So part of developing my craft will involve discipline, time management, emotional management, you know. I'm going to have to write on the days I don't feel like. And that's why I gave myself that 300 prompt goal anyway, right? So I can get in practice of learning how to do that with prompts, with writing prompts, and have that compartmentalized from writing projects that I'm passionate about, right? If I learn how to master the habits of a full-time writer with these 300 writing prompts, then that is going to add to how I can, you know, achieve passion goals, the writing goals that I am passionate about, writing projects that I'm passionate about, right? Because I already trained my mind during the 300 writing prompts. That is the whole function of having that challenge, and I'm still holding myself to that challenge, okay? So that's the goal, full-time writer, and that's what I already have set up, the 300 writing prompts challenge. But what am I going to do to achieve that? I'm thinking 1,000 words a month. But I really don't like that. Like, let's take it slow. Like, I can't be too aggressive on myself. Let's do 5 for next month. Let's do 500 words a week. Okay? 500. If I could do 500 words a week, and then the other month, today is June, July, August. On August, I'll up the ante and try and do 1,000 words a week. Oh, sorry, not a week. I'm sorry, a day. Not a week. It's going to be 500 words a day. Yes, that's not aggressive. That's pretty basic for, you know, full-time writers. 500 words a day. And then I'll do 1,000 words a day in August, okay? That is, I'm going to take it slow, acclimate my brain to that kind of discipline, and then up the ante to something more efficient, you know, hitting a full-time writer goal. And then as a content creator, I don't really have any goals when it comes to followers, right? Maybe I should. Maybe I should. I'm kind of scared of setting that up, because then it will change. That's the whole point. Maybe I should, because let's say if I wanted 1,000 subscribers by the end of the 6 months, not realistic. Well, let me not say that. negativity. But if I want 1,000 subscribers by the end of these 6 months, then it will shift how I do content. And I don't think I'm ready for that shift. However, that sentiment I had 4 years ago and I'm still at 161 subscribers, which I'm happy about. I'm content if it's just you and me, just me and you guys for the rest of my life, rest of my content creation. But I should set a goal, shouldn't I? I should absorb goal setting in this endeavor, right? I should. Oh, so I shall. 500. Okay. By the end of this year, I want to be monetized. To be monetized, you need somewhat around 500 subscribers. Okay. So that's the goal I'm going to set up. 500 subscribers by the end of the year. And what my content has looked like to achieve that, I already have some fantastic ideas in consistent content. So I think I could shape myself up to achieve that, right? And I already told you bit by bit with each and every goal how I am going to make content out of that, right? So for passing the language exams every week, I'm going to do, let me start over. So content creator, and one of the plans that I have is to do a weekly, what am I going to call it? It's going to be a weekly goals check-in vlog, okay? A weekly goals check-in vlog telling you where I am with these daily habits that I have set up to meet those end of the year goals in 6 months. That is a consistent line of content you can expect. Even if I don't make it, even if I did terribly 1 week, you will hear about it. And you will hear about it because I need to hear myself articulate what went wrong and then set up my mind to make sure I have a more satisfying, achievement-full vlog in the next vlog. I really like the idea of that. Okay? So thank you for listening so far. That's what's going to be next. That's what's to expect. Okay? And I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.